Hi, Lightroom Guy here, D.A. Wagner, and I'd like to talk a little bit about unintentional versus intentional file naming. And most unintentional file naming happens in the import dialog. And let me demonstrate this by just showing you. I'm going to start an import here, and I'm going to go ahead and select a file that I've created for this session here with a memory card. And I have just a few photographs here, and they're ready for import. Don't import suspected duplicates has been checked. And here I have rename files selected from my last import. And you'll notice here this custom text says Pittsburgh from my last import. But these pictures are from Florence, Italy. And I may easily just click import without looking here. And this is what happens pretty frequently. And even if there's nothing in this window and I click import, the files will be named untitled. And this is what we want to avoid. And I'm sure many of you watching have experienced this, where you have a lot of files named untitled because you've forgotten about this, or maybe you've closed this and so you no longer see it. And the same thing holds true with the name. If it's closed and you don't see it, these would have been named Pittsburgh. So I'm going to turn this off. This way, my files don't get unintentionally renamed. And this is now the step I do. So I choose to not rename my files when I import, because I rename my files after import. And that's my recommendation. So when I import these files here, and once they're in my catalog, as you can see here, the file names are just my camera counter file numbers. And in order to rename these, I'm just going to make these a little bit smaller. And in order to rename these, you see here it says target photo, selected photos, right? So we're going to do select all, and you'll see target photo. And when you click selected photos, you'll see that it says mixed, meaning we have all these photos are selected. So let me show you what the process is to rename all these photos. And here's a menu. And this menu, when we click in it, you see that little pop-up here. It says batch rename. And when I click on it, I have a choice now to rename my photos. And this is called intentional file renaming. I call this intentional file renaming because now it's not a hidden panel in my import window. Here I can easily change this custom text because it's going to be something that I see. And now I can name this the location that I want it to be. And it's going to give me this example here, Florence dash, and then there's my camera counter information, which is the way I like to do things. I click OK, and you'll see here all my files have been renamed using the camera counter number. And I'm never going to make a mistake because I'm not going to be using the import window. Now, for example, this is my second example. When I go to import and I choose my second sample memory card here, okay, and this is London. And in this situation, if we look at our file renaming here, and if this was checked, but we haven't entered anything into custom text, but we don't see it, and we click import, we end up with files that are named untitled. And you'll see here how these files all are unnamed. So, just to recap, if you want to rename your files, use the file name menu over here in your metadata panel to rename your photos. And if you have them all selected, Command A, by the way, if you have them all selected, this menu will then give you your option. And you have other options here to create your own sequences. And this would be a different session, different blog post. So if we've imported these guys with untitled and we wanted to have the original camera counter number, we wouldn't be able to do this. We'd have to remove this folder from the catalog, delete it actually, and then re-import the photos with the file renaming turned off. In any event, this is really intentional file naming versus unintentional file naming. And I'm D.A. Wagner, Lightroom Guy. Thanks for watching.